Okay guys, here we go. It is patch 16.6 and there are some pretty exciting changes that are coming. A lot of bug fixes, performance overhauls, lighting changes, and some AI changes that I'm kind of not happy about, but I'm going to go over all of that in this video. I'm going to quickly go over the patch updates and changes and just explain them in detail because sometimes the patch notes can be a little confusing for newer players or people who aren't as familiar with certain parts of the game. So first thing, we're going to go over the changes. We've got optimize the performance in various areas in Lighthouse. As you all know, Lighthouse does not perform incredibly well. It's got such long draw distances and there's so many different AI units running around the map. You've got rogues, you've got PMCs, you've got scavs. The map is so massive. When you're going into big open areas, oftentimes you'll experience stutters and frame rate drops, and hopefully we will see a huge improvement in the performance of Lighthouse. Returned some of the previously deleted location detailing on customs. What I'm assuming they mean is environmental or map details like clutter, props, foliage, debris, and small scenery objects like boxes, graffiti, rubble that were previously removed just to accommodate optimization or bug fixes. So we'll see a lot of that return to customs and we'll provide more detail. So now I'm going to move on to quality of life. They've added the ability to purchase all required items when selecting a crafting recipe in the hideout. That is incredible. What I'm understanding is instead of having to go into your individual items and buy them all in order to be able to afford a craft, now we will have a screen where you can just select all the items you need to buy and then you can buy them right away. This is a phenomenal change, and one of the problems with Tarkov is having to bounce between so many different screens. It makes it really hard for new players to learn the game just from navigating all the screens. Next, they have added the highlighting of expiring items on the insurance screen. So now when you go to your insurance, you will see which items are on the verge of expiring and the rest of them will not be highlighted. So you can clearly identify which ones you need to put in your inventory. Next, they have added the automatic failed task restart after the raid. Now, for those of you who are doing quite difficult tasks and you forget to restart, you complete that task. This is one of the most frustrating things in Tarkov, and now once you fail a task, it will automatically reset once you leave your raid. This is fantastic news. Next, we have changed the UI interaction when transitioning between locations. Now you need to hold a hotkey for a few seconds to activate the transition. Right now, when you go to transition, you're forced to go into that transfer items menu. And for the most cases, people don't actually want to transfer items. They just want to move to the next location. So eliminating this is extremely helpful. Next, sounds of completed or failed tasks will be dimmed if a player earns an achievement at the same time. So basically the sound of achievements being completed is blocked out by the task being completed or task failed sound, and now you'll be able to hear your achievement sound over top of that, which is nice. They've added new posters to the hideout. They've added new crafting recipes for the water collector zone in the hideout. That's interesting, and I am very excited to see what they have in store for us. They've added a new task line for high players, which allows to level various skills. Completing the task line will unlock an additional special weekly task. That is great to hear because for those of us that play PvE and are basically done the whole game, it's kind of annoying. You jump on there and you can't really do anything. Now that they're adding more missions, that is giving us new life and a new reason to come back on. Now we've got AI changes. Now all bots will play the animation of reaching and pulling the pin when attempting to throw a grenade. That is amazing news because right now they just throw grenades across the map without any heads up or warning, and it gets you killed quite easily. Next, readjusted the aiming mechanics of AI PMCs, raiders, rogues, and all regular bots to reduce the frequency of headshots in the following situations. When firing first shots at long ranges over 100 meters, all bots except Zerachi. When firing while moving, immediately after leaving the sprint mode, when doing power slides, and when changing stance for regular bots in any condition. I'm not a fan of this. I love the jank and the AI. I love them surprising you and getting crazy shots and kills on you. I've got over 5,000 hours in Tarkov and I don't really like that they're making the game a little easier. I like the difficulty. The AIs are so random with their headshots and their shooting. I find that a lot of fun, but you know, not everyone agrees with me. Next, at very close ranges, the AI accuracy remains the same. I don't know if you've noticed, but when you get close to a scav, they are very likely to shoot you in the face, which kind of sucks. But anyway, moving on. When firing at other body parts, the AI accuracy remains the same. So basically, to summarize both of these points, the AI will lock onto a specific part of your body and target it. They're more likely to hit an arm or a leg, or less likely to hit a headshot, and then that varies depending on how far or away they are from you. They've basically evened the playing field to make it an equal opportunity of hitting any part of your body. So I guess that's kind of nice if you're a more casual player, but I personally love that threat of impending doom when you're getting close to an enemy. Anyway, improve the mechanics of peaceful behavior of regular bots. Now they will patrol the areas required for tasks for longer and leave and roam only after some time. This change applies to the following tasks and their objective areas: safe corridor and reserve, pest control and reserve, long road lighthouse, provocation interchange, no swiping shoreline, preemptive strike shoreline customs woods, overpopulation lighthouse, rite of passage customs. This is really good news because you've got scavs going around looting, standing around doing nothing, and sometimes there's specific tasks where you have to kill them in certain areas, and those scavs will not go there and it'll waste so much of your time. So now we're being told that these scavs will patrol those areas more frequently so that you can get those scav kills. Because ultimately the scavs are there to annoy you and to pester you, but they're not supposed to be the main point of the game, as PMCs are supposed to be your primary enemies along with bosses. So personally, I think this is great news. Now we've got fixes which are pretty straightforward, so I'll just go over them as quickly as I can. Fix the double damage from boss in certain cases. Yes, there are bugs where certain shots will deal double damage and you'll die instantly. This is now being fixed. Fix the logic of filling money stacks when receiving money for completed tasks or system messages. So now all of your stacks are going to be piled up more accurately instead of them being thrown in random locations, possibly in secure containers or areas like backpacks or things that are more logical. Fix several issues related to sound portals not working properly on different locations, sound muffling inside of rooms when the door is open. I do not believe them for a second, because every time they do a sound update, something else gets broken, and it is nice to hear this on paper, but I will believe it when I see it. Fix the calculation of armor durability required for certain tasks. I haven't personally experienced this, but what I'm assuming is happening is that the game is not actually recognizing certain armor durabilities and calculations, so it's not allowing you to hand in maybe the damage Zabralo task or Giselle task, so that's good to hear. Fix the cause of Labra's access keycards not disappearing after entering the labyrinth in PvE mode. Aww. So now they're taking away that bug from us, and now you have to sacrifice your card when you go in the labyrinth. Fix the client freeze after a raid when using MIP streaming in certain areas. That's good. More performance updates. Fix the display of prestige and overall tab while in raid. I personally haven't prestige, so I'm assuming the prestige icon is maybe too big or in the way. I'm not too sure about that. Sorry, I couldn't be more clear. Fix the cause of accelerated players' footsteps sound out of the line of sight in certain cases. Again, more audio fixes. Glad to hear that. I'll believe it when I see it. Fix the missing sounds of helmet and armor hits in third person while indoors. Oh, that's exciting. So now we're going to be able to hear armor and helmet hits when you're witnessing someone else getting shot. That's good. Fix the cause of consumable items freezing when attempting to use them if the item was previously used by another player. I've never experienced this, but it's pretty self-explanatory. No more bugs when using consumables. Fix an error in the display of large amounts of money and task objectives, which result in the inability to transfer money for the task. Yes, there are a lot of problems with money transferring and receiving task rewards, so I'm glad to hear that they're fixing this. Fixed the display of potential wear when repairing if the player has changed the initial value of repair points. This is referring to the repair slider. When you change this repair slider, sometimes it doesn't actually repair the value of what you've selected, and now it'll more accurately display that value. Fixed the player rubber banding when moving after looting in certain areas. Glad to hear that. Fixed the incorrect display of task condition percentages in certain cases. This is exciting. There are a lot of tasks I've noticed that don't actually show you when you're progressing in the task until after the raid, and in some cases you're just sitting there wondering if you've ever done it. This has happened to me for a couple of Lightkeeper tasks, and I am very glad that they're fixing this. This one right here is exciting. Fix the incorrect display of items in the selling screen if the player switched to the selling screen before loading the trader's inventory. Basically, when you click over into your trader and then click over to the sell icon very quickly, it will incorrectly display everything in your inventory, and then you'll have to click on the buy and then go back to the sell icon to basically refresh and make it work. This is very frustrating when you're trying to sell things really quickly or just manage your inventory, and now apparently they have fixed it, and this will be the second patch in a row ago where they didn't have it, but now it is fixed, and that is extremely exciting to hear. Fix some misleading visual effects when using x2 and x4 resampling in graphic settings. Okay, that's good. Fix the cause of error 228 when trying to turn in ammo for daily task when 1 round from the stock was in the ammo magazine. Okay, that's good to hear. Fix the incorrect UI operation when the player placed an item in the stash when the PMC dog tag selector was open. This is an extremely rare error you'd get when selecting dog tags, and I wouldn't worry about this, but it's been fixed now. Fix the incorrect brightness of certain light sources on all locations. More lighting fixes, fantastic, glad to hear that. Fix the placement of the LSHZ 2DTM helmet flashlight slot. I'm so glad to hear this because I've wanted to use a flashlight on this helmet for so long and it's never worked, and now we finally get a flashlight on it. That is the big chunky black helmet. Fixed the geometry in certain areas on Lighthouse, the lab, and shoreline, which could lead to incorrect PMC behavior, teleports, clipping into textures, and uncontrolled movement. Cool, so PMC movement will be more realistic and they won't clip as much. That's good to hear. Fixed the incorrect weight of Wartech TV115 plate carrier. Okay, this plate carrier now has the accurate weight. Fixed the ability to insure ammo packs. Sorry folks, you can no longer insure ammo packs. Now that ability has been taken away from you. There's been no intention to be able to insure ammo packs. Fixed an issue where bots would spin in place while looting. It's good to hear. Sometimes they stick out like a sore thumb and it looks kind of crazy when they're just spinning around like a tornado. Fixed an issue where the bot would not say a voice line before attacking PMCs when the bot was not clearly visible. Again, this is another change I don't love. I don't mind getting snuck up on the AI. It makes the game more challenging. I'm not into these hold your hand baby type games, so that kind of sucks, but that's okay. Minor improvements to bot behavior. I'll believe it when I see it. Fix the missing third mannequin at the gear rack in certain cases. Okay, I've never experienced this, but I'm assuming there's a graphical error where one of your mannequins in the hideout doesn't show up, and that's now fixed. So that's it for the changes. The main things you're going to see are performance improvements, lighting improvements, behavior improvements for the AI, which means they're going to be a little bit easier than normal. Kind of bummed out about that, but that's okay. Lighthouse and customs are going to be more optimized. There's going to be better UI, less errors, and that stupid glitch where you go into the cell menu, that is now gone. I'm looking forward to that. So that's it for the patch notes for patch 16.6. If you found this video informative or helpful, or you enjoyed it in any way, please leave a like and subscribe as I create Escape from Tarkov content. I'll see you in the next one.